Hey everybody, welcome to Wolf Tickets MMA. Tonight we're going to be breaking down UFC Fight Night Grasso versus Araujo. Starting off the card, we have Mike Jackson versus Pete Rodriguez, which is going to be the worst fight you're ever going to see, possibly. Mike Jackson is 1-1-1. Pete Rodriguez 4-1. Mike Jackson is the worst guy on the roster. Does not belong to be here. Pete Rodriguez is okay, decent prospect, but has only really beat up guys in the local scene. Got beat up by Jack Madalena, his first fight in UFC. So there's not a lot of reads there, but he should definitely be able to beat Mike Jackson. Yeah, that's about it. There's no bets. There's no thought of betting on this fight. Pete Rodriguez is what is he? He's a minus 675 favorite. Mike Jackson's plus 500. There's no way anybody's going to bet on Mike Jackson unless it's for him to win another DQ. Pete Rodriguez boxes up Mike Jackson most likely and gets a decision or a knockout. Next up, we have a way better fight in CJ Vergara versus Tatsuro Taira. CJ Vergara is a plus 195 favorite. Tatsuro is a minus 230. CJ Vergara is a heavy pressure fighter. Just doesn't stop moving forward, punches, kicks. He has decent power. He's decent scrambles. He can get taken down, but his get-up game seems to be decent. In the third round, it kind of fades off because of his pressure. In the third round against Kletson Rodriguez, he got his back taken, survived that, but Kletson was hurt and tired too. But he's going against Tatsuro, who is a good prospect out of Japan. Decent striking, smart striking. He picks his punches. Can kind of be low output, but he has good grappling. He is okay takedowns. Seems to have good clinch takedowns, but he's not shooting doubles or singles. It doesn't look like. If he takes your back, he's going to ride you out. There was a couple of positions his last fight where his hips were high or off position, and he readjusted. Didn't fall off. He grapples smart, strikes smart. He's a good prospect. As far as the breakdown or as far as the pick goes, I don't know, because I could see Vergara coming in, putting the pressure on, and Taira has never faced pressure like that. So we could see how this turns out. I'm going to wait till after this fight to start putting money on Tatsuro, because this is the fight to prove what his cardio is like and how he faces that pressure. The CJ Vergara is the type of guy to do that and test him. But overall, I don't know. I think Tatsuro is too smart. I think he's just going to back up, pick his punches, maybe go for his takedowns, take his back, possibly late in the third round get a choke. I don't have a definitive pick here, but I'm just going to side with Tatsuro. No bets yet. Tatsuro by decision or a late submission. Next up in the women's strawweight division, we have Piera Rodriguez versus Sam Hughes. Piera Rodriguez is a minus 200 favorite. Sam Hughes a plus 165 underdog. This should actually be another good fight. Piera Rodriguez has good hands, good kicks. She has a good single. She runs the pipe, but she has sloppy doubles from the outside. Doesn't really set them up. Her top control is questionable. She could fall off. They could scramble out from underneath her. Against Kay Hansen, she had good sub defense, and she fought smart. When she was in danger, she would back up, not engage. When she was in the clinch, she would just back up, not engage. When she felt things were not really going her way. Yeah, she has decent power for a strawweight. She throws heat, but she does have questionable cardio when it comes down to the third round. She was able to beat Kay Hansen, but Kay Hansen's not that great. And other than that, she had that win on the Contender Series, which she looked okay against, or Machado, I think. She beat her up on the feet, but it was still a pretty close fight. And Machado's not that great. Sam Hughes is a little pit bull. She'll come forward. She has okay hands. She's tough, but she blocks punches with her face. She fought Tecia Torres on like a week notice. Then she fought Luke Bume on like 2 weeks notice. And she didn't look that bad against either of them. I mean, she got beat up and stopped by Tecia Torres. She kind of looked for a way out. She said she couldn't see at the end of the round. But Luma Lukbume is good. We just saw her fight. Luana Pinheiro was good too. That was a good fight. And she came out against Estela Nunez, and she was getting pieced up in that first round, but she didn't stop. She kept coming forward, even though she was getting hit, getting beat up pretty bad, and pushed through, and ended up taking those last 2 rounds. When Nunez gassed, same thing with Elise Reed, just relentless wrestling and pressure on top. Elise Reed couldn't handle it. Now, if she comes out with a good wrestling game plan against Piera Rodriguez, I could see Sam Hughes taking this fight, but it's another thing where it's a pretty low-level women's MMA fight where I have no interest in betting. I don't really see a finish. So what are the over odds? Do they have these out yet? Yeah, so it looks like the over 2.5 is going to be around 310, which, if you're pretty confident in it, that could be a good parlay piece, but I don't know if I want to touch it. I could see Hughes does block punches with her face, and Piera Rodriguez, if she has that questionable gas tank and it comes down to third, and Sam Page is pushing the pressure and making her gas, and she ends up getting on top, she could pound her out or get a choke of her own. Yeah, this should be a good fight. I'm going to pick Sam Hughes because I could see her coming in, putting the pressure on. It's not a strong pick, but I'm just going to go with the dog here and pick Sam Hughes by decision. No bets. Not planning on betting it at all. Next up in the men's bantamweight division, we have Raphael Assunção versus Victor Henry. Raphael Assunção is a plus 260 underdog. Victor Henry a minus 315 favorite. Raphael Assunção, he's been around for a while. He's 40 years old. He's on a 4-fight losing streak. He's been finished in 1, 2, 3 of those. And he's not getting any better. He's fighting Victor Henry, who just came off. He beat the brakes off Raoni Barcelos. That surprised me. I had a bet on Raoni. And Victor Henry came and spoiled that. And he looked good, too. He's a heavy pressure fighter. He's good strikes, good grappling. He's a catch wrestler under Josh Barnett. He has good jiu-jitsu. He has a few subs. And I don't think Raphael has what it takes to beat Henry. I think Raphael is going to eventually wear down later in the fight and get finished. He just comes forward, throws everything. And I don't think Assunção can handle that anymore. 4 or 5 years ago, yeah, I think he would beat the brakes off Victor Henry, but it's a pretty confident pick here. Definitely Victor Henry. I don't know about the inside the distance, though. Henry should definitely win this fight. Assunção's just too old and washed. Now, he's still Raphael Assunção, one of the best bantamweights, ever. But his time's just passed, Victor Henry's 35, too. He's not young either. But he has way less mileage, way less high-level mileage on him. He should come out and just, put the pressure on from start to finish. Wins a decision, wins a late finish. I mean, that's basically all there is to it. I don't see Assunção coming out and, doing anything new. Ricky Simon finished him, knocked him out, and Ricky Simon doesn't knock out anybody. Raphael Assunção, I love him, but this isn't a fight for him. I think Victor Henry comes out, beats him down for 3 rounds, possibly gets a late finish. What are the finish odds on here? So, looks like under 2.5 is plus 135. So I might look into putting a bet in on that when the odds come out on DraftKings. But yeah, I think this is Victor Henry all the way. I might end up parlaying him. I don't have any bets yet. I'm gonna look for more props and more odds to come out before I lay any bets down. But Victor Henry's definitely on my list. I got Victor Henry, and I possibly have him by stoppage. Next up in the men's middleweight division, we have Nick Maximov versus Jacob Malkoun. Nick Maximov is a minus 160 favorite, and Malkoun is a plus 130 underdog. Nick Maximov he comes from that Diaz camp. Doesn't fight like any of the Diaz brothers. Fights more like Jake Shields, actually. But Nick Maximov, he has a heavy wrestling game plan every fight. Chain wrestling, he shoots, guy defends it. He just shoots again, puts the pressure on, dives in for the legs, even if he's not closed. Don't really set it up. he'll take your back, take you down. The guys will pop back up. He'll just take him down again. Guys will pop back up. You know, his hands are okay. I think occasionally he throws like wheel kicks, but it's not great at all. And he's fighting Jacob Malkoun, who, you know, is a better wrestler, I think. Doesn't fight like a pressure wrestler. He'll wait, pick his shots, and then you know, take you down. He has good clinch, good double, good single. He just had that hard fight against Arnold Allen, and I thought he won that fight. You know, and Arnold Allen is way better than Nick Maximov, way better jiu-jitsu, way better striking, and he handled himself in there. He played the game with Arnold Allen, and you know, he didn't do too bad. He survived in Arnold Allen's guard. I'm pretty sure he can survive in Nick Maximov's guard. Now the only thing is, if Nick Maximov can put that pressure on and just, you know, hold onto a leg, is Malkoun going to eventually gas? I don't think so. Nick Maximov has gotten tired late in basically all of his fights. Against Soriano, he got beat down pretty bad in the last round. Yeah, I have Malkoun here. I'm taking the dog. Plus 130. I'm looking to bet him whenever I can get a chance. Malkoun is better grappling. I think he'll be able to stop the takedowns, you know, create the space, and then, you know, let his hands go. If you could stand up with Arnold Allen, you could definitely stand up with Nick Maximov. You know, I know the styles are different, but Maximov is not going to hurt Malkoun. You know, a safe bet would be the over, but that's probably juice to the gills. What is that? Over 2.5 is minus 260. It's not bad. You know, neither guy is going to submit either guy. Malkoun doesn't go for subs. Maximov doesn't really go for subs. He'll lock on a backpack and just hold it. He's not, you know, shooting arm bars from guard. It doesn't look like. You know, I think there's going to be a heavy grinding fight with Maximov diving into takedowns, eventually gassing, and then Malkoun getting a takedown and just laying in his guard, laying in side control. You know, not doing much. It's not going to be the best fight. I do not think this is going to be a great fight, but I definitely think Malkoun shouldn't be the dog here. I think the line will probably eventually flip. Let's see. Money looks like it's coming in on Jacob Malkoun. So yeah, I got to go put that in before it gets too late. I have Malkoun here. Better wrestler, better striking, I think. It's just going to come down to if Nick Maximov just, you know, has that same shot-reshot style where he just dives in on legs and just holds. But I don't think he's going to be able to do that against Jacob Malkoun. I think Jacob Malkoun shouldn't be a dog here. I don't know why Maximov's a favorite. But, you know, could be wrong. Crazier things have happened. But I have Malkoun by decision. Next up in the men's bantamweight division, we got Manny Martinez versus Brandon Davis. Manny Martinez is a minus 160 favorite. Brandon Davis is a plus 135 underdog. That was another fight where I have no intention of betting. Both these guys are pretty low level. Brandon Davis has fought the better guys, but he's also lost way more to the better guys. Manny Martinez just had that tough fight against Ronnie Lawrence where he was taken down, you know, the whole fight. He went to decision with Guido Canetti, which is not a good look. You know, he arguably won, but still not a good look. Brandon Davis has been around for a while. He's fought, you know, basically the who's who. He's had that brutal knockout to Batgarel Dana. You know, Batgarel Dana is no joke. Manny Martinez, he has questionable takedown defense against Ronnie Lawrence, who's a great wrestler, but he was able to get up. He can get hit. He's been dropped a bunch. He's good. He has good scrambles. You know, he doesn't really accept the takedown. He gets taken down, but he doesn't accept it. He'll try to work himself back up. And he does have, I think he has questionable cardio when it comes down to the third. But, you know, in this couple fights, you know, he was heavily pressured. And, you know, it's hard to keep the cardio up when you're getting pressured like that. But he's fighting Brandon Davis, who, you know, not way back in the day, a couple years ago, he fighting Zabit, Giga, Kyung Ho Kang. He was getting beat up by Randy Costa too, until Randy Costa gassed and, you know, gave him his back again and got choked. I had no intentions on betting this. I'd probably bet the under, but, you know, Brandon Davis he's only been KO'd once. He's been submitted a handful of times. Manny Martinez was KOing guys on the regionals. and he got choked out on the Contender Series, but it is a low-level fight. I have no interest in betting on it. I think Brandon Davis, with his experience, should probably be able to beat Manny Martinez, but I have no idea. This is a hard one for me. I don't think Brandon Davis has a bad chin. He's only been KO'd once, and I don't know if Manny Martinez is going to be able to KO him. It's just a low-level fight. I have no interest in betting on it, but as far as a pick goes, I'll just pick Brandon Davis based on his experience and, the high level of competition he's fought. Even though not that great, but yeah, I got Brandon Davis, not confident at all. No interest in betting on this fight. Next up, we have Misha Cirkunov versus Alonzo Menifield in the men's middleweight division. Cirkunov is a plus 180 underdog, and Menifield is a minus 220 favorite. Now, yeah, Misha Cirkunov is he's going to get knocked out, I highly assume. He has no gas. He finds a way out of fights. He has good grappling, but that's it. He has no chin. Can't take a punch. Doesn't like getting hit. Alonzo Menifield's a big athletic guy. Hits hard. Yeah, that's basically it. The under's 100% going to hit here. If this doesn't hit, that's insane. Yeah, you have Menifield who hits like a truck, and Cirkunov who does not like to be hit. This is going to be most likely a knockout for Menifield. There is one thing against William Knight, he was clinching up. He's probably not going to clinch up with Cirkunov if he knows better, but he was dangling his head, in the armpit. If he dangles his head, Cirkunov's probably going to snatch it up. If Cirkunov does get a takedown, he could probably sub Menifield in the first. Overall, it is quick. Menifield is probably going to knock him out. Cirkunov very possibly submit him. Not likely. The under is almost certain here. Cirkunov has 3 losses in a row. He's 4 losses in his last 5. He's been finished in all but one of them. Against Jocko, which, was a good fight. Or not a good fight, but, he took him to a split decision. It was close, way closer than it should have been, but that's how Jocko fights, Jocko has no power. He doesn't have any finishes, I don't think, in the UFC. But I have Menifield KO, Cirkunov possible sub, under definitely going to happen. And, that's about it. Next up, another men's middleweight fight between Duško Todorović and Jordan Wright. Now, I don't even want to make a pick here. This is another fight where it's just going to be crazy. The under is almost certain here. I mean, if there's a lock of the night, this is it. The under is going to hit. Duško's a wild man. Chin straight up in the air, marches forward. He has okay takedowns. He throws hard. Jordan Wright, no chin. Oh, Duško doesn't have a chin either. Jordan Wright, no chin. Throws, crazy stuff. He's hurting Bruno Silva. Joaquin Buckley. I'm pretty sure he hurt Buckley in the first before he got knocked out. Obviously got brutalized by Bruno Silva. He's a savage. He got subbed by Marc-Andre Barriot, who, he's not known for subs. And he submitted him in the first, I think. But yeah, this fight's going under. You got 2 wild men, 2 guys with questionable chins. I mean, it's not even questionable at this point. Jordan Wright has no chin. Duško doesn't really have a chin. He's got murdered by Chitty with that elbow. I could see Duško coming out, maybe shooting for takedowns. Jordan Wright giving him up. Maybe Jordan Wright gassing. I don't think Jordan Wright's ever been in the 3rd round. Jordan Wright has been to 48 seconds of the 2nd round. That's the furthest he's ever been. He's a kill or be killed guy. I'm a big fan of whenever he fights because I know whatever happens is going to be crazy. If he doesn't get dusted, he's going to dust somebody. I'm going to pick Duško because, he went to decision with Gregory Rodriguez, even though he got beat up too. And we all know Gregory Rodriguez, Robocop. He's a goddamn savage. But yeah, Duško, KO, sub, Jordan Wright. Either way, the under's going to hit. I'm 100% going to parlay that up. It's going to be a crazy fight. And yeah, that's it. Next up in the men's flyweight division, we have the People's main event. Askarov and Brandon Raw Dog Royval. Askarov is a minus 190 favorite, and Brandon Royval is a plus 160 underdog. Now, Askarov just might be the best guy at flyweight. He's fought the who's who. I thought he got robbed against Kakar of France. Big boy Joseph Benavidez, Pantoja, who just might be the second or third best guy in the division. Beat up Tim Elliott. Hit him with that crazy punch that stunned him. Stiffened him up. He regained consciousness right before he fell. He fought Brandon Moreno. That fight was really close. That was a great fight. Took him to a split decision. Or no, he's fought him to a draw. Askarov, very well rounded, one of those Dagestani guys. Great wrestler, great BJJ. He could take your back. Hold on. I think that's why he gassed out against Brandon Moreno in Kaikar of France. He took his back and he just held it the entire second round, standing. He's probably the most well-rounded guy in the division. Besides that, if he didn't get robbed against Kaikar of France, he probably could have rematched Brandon Moreno before him and Figgy had a 12th fight. But he's fighting Brandon Royval, who might not be the best guy in the division, but he is definitely the most exciting guy in the division. He's a killer be killed. He finishes almost everybody he fights. That Hajaria Bontarine fight where, Bontarine just took him down. I'm pretty sure he won it off his back, throwing those elbows. No matter what position he's in, he's just going to try to finish the fight. He's going to throw up subs. He's just going to grab your roll out of nowhere and try to lock onto your arm, take your back, throw an armbar up, dive on a guillotine like he did Machinel. That thing was super quick. Crazy first round against Kaikar France. Crazy fight against Pantoja. Pretty sure he's beating Pantoja up pretty good and then, got tired. And that's the thing, too. The reason I'm going to side with Askarov here is because Brandon Royval has a questionable gas tank. And if Askarov, plays it smart, gets the takedowns, holds position, doesn't fall for any of the traps, I can see him winning. But Royval is live at any moment in any fight he's going to be in. No matter who it's against. But ultimately, I have to go with Askarov. By decision, possibly finish, Royval gets crazy, throws his spinning elbows, those wheel kicks. But Askar, I think he's too smart. He is deaf, so he's not getting corner advice too. That makes it even more special. He's able to just fight off instinct like this and be that good. But I'm gonna have to go with Askarov beating Brandon Royval by decision, possible submission. I can't make a bet here because Brandon Royval is just live at any moment. Minus 190, that's not that bad of a price because, Askar is basically better everywhere except maybe, crazy jiu-jitsu scrambles. I see him winning, for the most part. I don't see him getting caught, but, he's fighting Royval, and that could definitely happen. In a split second, the fight could be over. He's going to hit him with a spinning elbow, maybe drop him and, dive on a guillotine. Askar gets a takedown, falls into a triangle, Don't see it happening, but that's totally a possibility here. But I'm going to have to side with Askarov. This should be the main event. It's criminal that it's not, but it is what it is. And, yeah, Askarov. Next up in the bantamweight division, the co-main event between Jonathan Martinez and Cub Swanson. Jonathan Martinez is a minus 175 favorite. Cub Swanson plus 145 underdog. This fight here, the old versus the new. Jonathan Martinez is a pretty solid kickboxer. He throws his heavy leg kicks every fight. Low output, heavy leg kicking game plan. He has decent hands too. He's fast. Those kicks are hard. He's not knocking a lot of people out. He's winning these, not pretty close decisions, but, there's not a lot going on in a lot of them. And he's fighting Cub Swanson, the old dog. He's been around forever. First time I saw him fight was, probably against Jens Pulver or Jose Aldo back in WEC. He's been around for a long, long time, fighting the best guys, in the world for probably a decade. And, he's 10 years older than Jonathan Martinez. The line's not that bad. Plus 145, this fight could get close. Jonathan Martinez did just get slept by Davey Grant like a year ago. He hit him with that body shot to like that crazy left hook and knocked him out, dropped him. And Davey Grant has a similar style to Cub Swanson, that crazy in and out, hands low, just throw things. And Martinez has been rocked a couple times, besides that knockout. But he's just so, he plays it so safe. I think Jonathan Martinez is a good matchup for Cub Swanson. I think Cub with his, he's not even on a bad streak. He's, 3-2 in his last 5. He lost to Giga. Giga was the only knockout loss of his career, I think. And it wasn't even knocked out. That was a body kick. And Jim Burgos is tough as hell. And, that was a really close fight. Cub Swanson, he's 38, but, he hasn't taken that much damage because of his style. Not out there, getting these crazy brawls, that Do Hu Choi fight was crazy. They beat the hell out of each other, but other than that, he's in and out, throwing stuff at range, 1-2, throw your kicks, throw your wheel kicks, then get back. Same style as Martinez, kind of, but, a little more flashy. I think Cub Swanson has a good shot here. Jonathan Martinez, has those leg kicks, but he has to catch Cub coming in, and with the defense to, leg kicks, besides checking them, is, get in close. If he's not timing his leg kicks right, he's probably going to get caught by Cub, with this straight. I could see Cub winning here. But, I think Jonathan Martinez, he's not fights too safe. He's not going to put himself into these crazy positions, to get caught and knocked out again, after that, Davey Grant fight. His last couple fights have been, pretty lackluster. But I could see Cub, avoiding the leg kicks, coming in. Jonathan Martinez does have good hands and decent speed, too, but I don't see him catching and knocking out Swanson. I think this is going to go over. What are the over odds? So, over 2.5 is plus 175, That's not that bad. I think, if there is a finish in this fight, it's going to be Cub Swanson knocking out Martinez, which could possibly happen. But I don't know. I think Martinez is going to play it too safe, not give Cub the distance. Or not let Cub close the distance and, throw those leg kicks. He's not going to get in a brawl with Cub. I could see Cub, diving in with something. I could see Cub baiting Martinez to throw a leg kick and, blasting him. Stepping back, checking it, and then coming in. Because we all know what Martinez is going to do. Cub Swanson's more unpredictable. And even though he's 38 years old, he's still fighting good guys and still looking pretty good against these guys. I'm going to side with the old dog, Cub, the underdog, by decision. But, who knows how it's going to play out. I'm not going to bet on this. If I did bet, I'd probably bet the over. But, yeah, Cub by decision. Finally, we have our main event of the evening, the women's flyweight division. Alexa Grasso versus Viviane Araujo. Alexa Grasso is a minus 190 favorite. Araujo is plus 155 underdog. Now, this fight, this could play out in a handful of ways. Alexa Grasso has, the way better boxing. She has the cleaner boxing, the tighter boxing. She doesn't get into brawls. She has developed a good grappling game lately. She didn't look bad against Macy Barber, in the clinch, whatever. She submitted JoJo. Yeah, she's a good boxer, pretty well-rounded. She's developed a wrestling game. He's fighting Araujo, who, is like a little juggernaut in the first 2 rounds. And then kind of fades off, as the fight goes on, because she throws so hard, she hits hard. That beat down against Andrea Lee, where Lee said she felt like she was going to pass out because she was getting beat up so bad. Matana De La Rosa, she didn't look bad. She beat her up. Viviane is she's a good fighter, but, this is a 5-round fight. And I see Grasso, Grasso hasn't been in a 5-round fight either. So we'll see how her cardio settles up. But she's been 3 rounds, basically most of her career. And her cardio held up. She never really looked too gassed in 3-round fights. But, a 3-round fight, if Araujo's gassing in the 2nd round, in every fight, it's not going to look good if this goes to the 4th round, if it goes to the 5th round. Viviane, I wouldn't say she's that live for finish early either. I would say she has to win the first 3 rounds of this fight if she wants to win the fight. If she loses any of the first two rounds, she's probably not winning this fight. And Grasso, with her new grappling, if she has worked on it as good as it looks like she has, then I could see her getting a sub late against Viviane. Even though Viviane's she's a good grappler too, but it's just the cardio. It's the most important thing here. And if she comes out and paces herself, how is she going to look? Is Grasso going to pick her apart if she tries to pace herself and doesn't go full-blown juggernaut, I don't see it happening. I see Grasso winning pretty handedly, in every, position here. If Viviane loses, the first couple rounds, then Grasso's, most likely going to win the fight. That's a good live betting thing, too. If Araujo comes out in the first round, beats up Grasso, and those odds are crazy. I might want to drop some money on Grasso, because if this goes to the 3rd round and Araujo's breathing heavy after you get those good odds of her beating up Grasso in the first, then you might make some money, because I don't see Grasso losing in the 4th and 5th rounds. She grappled hard against Macy Barber, didn't look too gassed. She looked a little tired only because, it was a heavy grappling fight, but she didn't look too tired. She has slick boxing, her hands are good. She keeps her guard up high, even if she does get taken down. That's good for her, because Araujo's going to gas. I highly assume Araujo's going to gas before the 3rd round, or before the 4th round, but sometime during the 3rd round she's probably going to gas. And she's 35 years old too, and that doesn't bode well. I think Grasso is a safe pick here. Typically, if it was a 3-round fight, I'd pick the over, but those last 2 rounds, if Araujo gasses, that can make all the difference in this fight. I'm going to have to say Grasso, plays it smart, doesn't get caught, doesn't get knocked out or subbed in the first couple rounds, and then she's fine for the rest of the fight. So I'm going to have to go Grasso by decision, possible late stoppage. And that concludes UFC Vegas 62. If you made it this far in the video, bless your soul. I know it's probably painful, but I appreciate it. It's still a work in progress. We're trying to figure this out. On Friday, we're gonna put up a video with our official bets. These were all just picks and leans, but when the lines come out, I'm gonna have some bets, some parlays, some straight bets that I already got marked down that I'm pretty sure I'm gonna do. I appreciate it. Thanks.